Oh,
And we are live with Cory Fischer.
and we're gone.
So
There we go.
this happens all the time. When
as
soon as people connect, we start talking.
We got
Yeah, to catch everybody up, we're basically talking about stickers. I got a couple of Corys here, but it seems like everybody's doing it. And then you just held up like 30 fresco stickers too.
the fresco stickers,
Yeah,
man.
they're enormous. They're like the
Ooh.
size of a bumper sticker. That is Nick in a package.
I like
for
it.
sure.
I like it.
I love it too, because it's like it's fucking this big.
It's good, man.
On my tools, I think it was when he came for the event, but it's on my tool case and it's huge. I love it.
Nice.
I love it.
I got 3 or 4 clipboard, computer, they're everywhere.
Yeah, fuck yeah. So how you doing, man? Good?
Not bad, man. Nice easy Sunday today. I got some breakfast going, did some sausage on the grill. It's our first time doing sausage on the grill. That's pretty good.
Nice.
You gotta try that, dude. You never tried it.
Is it a smoker?
Yeah, Traeger.
Yeah. So my cousin and our buddy Neil are really big into smoking.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Man, some of that food that comes off of there, I'm like, this is just ridiculous, and it's so good.
Dude, there's a place in Kansas City called Fat Stacks that is just amazing, dude. Like they'll ship it to you too. They'll ship frozen barbecue up to you. It's not cheap to get it to you, but it's worth it, man.
No shit, eh? All right, I'll have to write that. What's it called?
Is it Fat Jack's? Jack Stacks. It's Jack Stacks.
Jack Stacks.
You have to check it out, dude. Change your life.
All
they got this dino rib that it's a beef short rib. You never had anything like this before in your life.
That's dope,
dude. It's amazing.
Right as I'm trying to start to cut weight, you're like, this barbecue place that'll send it to you. It's gonna change your life. I'm sure it will.
If you eat just meat, you're good to go, man. It's the sugar and carbs that get you.
You know what? I've actually been doing a little bit more reading on that carnivore diet. There's a lot of people that it's doing a lot of good things. Especially like, because I'm a heavier guy, right? So, it's whenever you can get into ketosis, right, where you're burning fat as opposed to carbohydrates. Oh man, it's so clear. The clarity you get from that is fantastic.
Yeah, I got a hard time with cakes and pies. See?
Oh, same. And pizza. Pizza is my fucking number one. Yeah.
It's easy, it's fast, it's everywhere,
I blame the Ninja Turtles.
No, that's no shit, dude. It is 100%. I didn't even like pizza when I was little, but all the Ninja Turtle all the time were eating pizza, and I was like, man, it looks really good, dude. I gotta try it. Never did like it until I was probably 15. Now I could live on pizza.
Have you seen this yet? Dr. Pepper Zero?
I haven't.
It's fucking delicious.
I'm the only one in the house that likes Dr. Pepper, so I usually don't get Dr. Pepper.
I just know if something tastes that good, it's got to be bad for you. So I just try.
Probably.
Yeah, So this said 0 sugar. I'm like, yeah, whatever makes it worse than sugar. I don't care. I don't know about
that's that Canadian branding on the can there. We don't have cans like that here.
Really? Oh,
they're a little different.
You guys went a little crazy on July 4th.
It was nuts around here. And you caught the beginning. When I showed you that video, you caught the beginning. It gets absolutely wild. And we live in a little small town outside of Lincoln and Omaha. And, you can ride go-karts, 4-wheelers around, and people start to drink, and it gets a little wild. No cops this year, though.
You weren't quite like avoiding fireworks that were going off, but it was like you were driving, showing me, and then stopping, and someone was setting fireworks off in the road. I was like, I would love to be there.
You guys have fireworks in Canada?
Oh yeah. Yep. Actually, this year for Canada Day, I like having a nice big cigar and lighting the fireworks with the cigar, because it kind of keeps it a little bit further away from your hand. But then you're right up close to it. So basically, I'll light the thing, lay on my back a couple of feet away, and then you get to see the fireworks. Well, one of these things is just a piss fountain of like sparks.
Oh,
and I didn't know. So I'm like combat rolling out of this like shower of hot. But yeah, we do for sure. They're weird though. It's not like a place that you go to. You can go to the Indian Reserve and you can get them, and you can get them where somebody like backs a shipping container up or like a site trailer, and then you go in there and it's just full of fucking fireworks. I think, yeah, it's dope. I love them.
About the same thing here. If you want to go out to you got to go outside of where we're at to get the good ones. Yeah. You know, even down to Missouri. Missouri's got the good ones down there. You can get the big ones. You know, they limit you to medium-sized ones where we're
at. So I'm trying to remember where I went to up north, but we had gotten a cottage. And I pulled over into this, like, it was a place that had like statues for gardens, you know, but they were like pretty big.
Garden
well, and like fountains and angels and like, you know, like ducks and shit. And it said fireworks, like a little sign like this. And then he takes me down into this like workshop. And then in the back, there are like fireworks. Like they were like $40 each. So I spent, I don't know. Anyways, and some of these things were like appropriately sized for the backyard of this cottage. And then some of these things were like a professional grade fireworks.
Yeah.
Where it's like,
dude, there's a fine line now between professional and what you can get in other states.
Yeah, you get deep shit probably for having some of that.
Well, maybe if they caught you.
The States is different than up here, though. I feel like Alberta for us is like Texas for you guys.
Oh, really?
Yeah, where you can kind of do whatever the fuck you want over there, but Ontario's kind of tighten it.
I gotta learn my Canadian laws here soon. Nah. See where you can get away with stuff.
It is basically your first time for anything. If you say you're sorry, it's fine. No.
I'm American. It's all right.
Yeah, right.
Right. It's okay where I'm at. You still working with Steve?
Yeah. So we wrapped that house up, and I think we're just having like a little bit of a pause before there's another big house in Balsam Lake. There's always stuff coming up though, right? Like it's they're with a big builder. I've got the lunchroom I'm doing right now at CSR. When Brad messaged me, he said, "Do you have time to come see a patch?" And
always a patch.
A patch in the lunchroom. And so like I went to the lunchroom and I looked around and I was like, this is all like kind of got a first coat on it. I don't see anything that needs a patch. So I found like a little doorknob punch, you know, and I was like, is this what you need patched? And he's like, no. I'm like, it's this whole fucking lunchroom, isn't it? He's like, oh yeah.
He said, you're already there now.
I was like, fuck. So I just said, let's fresco it, right? Like some of it was pretty bad. Yeah, but it fucking looks dope. I can't wait to get the sealer on it.
What color did you use?
The Galtieri, Galtiero steel.
Cool.
Yeah, I like the dark colors. It's what they used at Columbia. But it's a big room. It looks
like a lot of work.
It's like 1,300 square feet. Troweling that out, I don't know if you can see it. You see the fucking like, man.
You got the old blister.
I have callus everywhere on these hands except for trowel, because the trowel I've never used, right? So that part where you push on it, oh my god.
Well, you use a lot. There's a lot different muscles involved with a trowel compared to a pan and knife, because I use a pan and knife, but if you switch, you know, if I'm doing drywall, it's pan and knife. If we're doing EFIS, you know, we'll do, you know, a hawk and trowel, and you feel it in different parts of your arm.
Totally.
It's a big difference. We got some turquoise stone here that old Nick sent us that we're going to use soon. Wow. I got some Parisian berry also. I'm going to try to find a home for it. It looks really good finish with the sealer. I think a high gloss sealer with that. Maybe a silver sealer.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. I had sweet. It was like a harvest pink or something like that. But it wasn't like a red. I really like that berry. Yeah.
And it comes out a lot redder than what it looks like on the label too. So, and I think you could even, you know, if you measured it out, you could probably even make it redder than that if you wanted to use less than a 5.
Totally.
Don't tell Nick I'm playing with his product, but
I
you
was
could
gonna
probably do
say
that.
that we'll tell Nick to wear earmuffs if he's listening right now. But I think I'm gonna start taking, if it's only like a bucket or two I'm mixing, I'm gonna just take a couple of scoops out of it and
I
just
think
get like a little bit.
as long as you wrote it down,
Yeah.
and when you left, you could leave the note just like your paint color.
Mm-hmm.
I think you'd be all right.
I
Nick
think
would
it's
probably
fine.
differ,
I know.
but
I know he's at home shaking whatever he's watching this song, going, just do it the
he said
fucking
it's
way you're
pre-measured.
supposed
It's
to do it.
pre-measured.
I don't remember the last. I don't remember if it was a personal message or a comment on one of the things that I did. And he's just like, sure would be nice if you just did it the way I intended it.
He's not wrong.
No,
wrong.
this really is the first time that I am doing it the way that it's intended, and it's pretty easy. You know, because it's the same color on the same color, so you don't care about where it's coming through. It's gonna come through because they're both on the wall. When I'm covering up a darker color with a lighter color or something, you really need to be worried about how and where and the design you're going to make. Just using Fresco the way that it's supposed to be done it's a money-making product.
I can't believe that it's not in the big box stores like Home Depot or something like that, because really the worse finisher you are, the better it comes out. And I think it's super DIY friendly.
It absolutely is. Yeah, like realistically, I've used trowels before, but like actually using them in the setting of working, I've just started doing that this year because it's just one of the fundamentals that I didn't have, so I've started doing it. When we were out west, like Bernie, St. James, it was like, so basically what you're doing here is a shitty job troweling it on the wall, and in the back of my head I'm like, yeah, that's why I'm so good at it.
He's not wrong.
It's not wrong. Yeah, it's neat, but when you're doing it with intention, like the way we're to me, a sloppy way of doing it is like where you can see where you've put it on or taken it off. Any sort of like direct line of like your tooling is, I think that's sloppy. But there's no wrong way of doing it when you're leaving hills and valleys and
not really. I've been watching Cam, and he's been getting really good at it. And you can see where he leaves the whole veining down the wall and everything,
Yeah.
Because once you get the feel of it, it's pretty easy to do what you want to do with it.
So he brought some of that, the metallic paint that he swirls with out west with us. And I made a sample, and I kind of like, you put it on the way that you want it, but if you play with it, that paint basically disappears. Like it just kind of absorbs into the mud. So he comes out, and I've just got a sparkly like a mush, and he's like, yeah, it's not very easy, is it? You really have to kind of like it just that's a one swoop thing. You can let it, he said you can let it set up and then play with it a little bit, but yeah, he's really good at it.
You getting better with the hawk and trowel then?
Tons. I don't know how I was doing work without a hawk and trowel. I've always had a hawk, so I'll use the tomahawks with it. I can and I kind of start at the edge of the blade and then spread from the hawk. So I've had no issues with that before, but like this was the first time doing Fresco with a trowel like that, like production anyways. Like, and that 25-foot wall by basically 9, I did in 23 minutes, something like that.
That's not bad.
I was like, holy shit, to do this with
a
knife would have taken me an hour. But it's taking the product, putting it on the wall, and then kind of moving it from there. It's brilliant. I don't know how I've not been doing it. Same with corner bead, like when you're filling. You really can't beat that.
I think a hawk and trowel gets a lot flatter than a pan and knife, especially if you're newer. If you can really feel it with a pan and knife, you can get it equal to what a hawk and trowel does. But
totally.
I don't know.
That up until the tomahawks, I was just a pan and knife. If I was using a hawk, it was just like with a knife in a closet or something. Like I'm trying to think of when I would have used it. But I've always had a hawk around, always had a pan around, but always broad knives as my so I don't know. I see people doing it both. I think it's however you're used to doing it that kind of comes through.
100%.
Yeah, moving that material though with a trowel is pretty cool.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. Doing it with drywall is not so bad. It's the hard part is like if you were to do, like an ephes finish or something like that, that's a lot harder because it's really thin, and it's hard to get it to stay on and flip it onto your trowel. And
So what is that?
ephes,
Yeah.
it's like you've seen it. It's like the styrofoam with the base coat and then the color over top.
Yeah, like stucco almost, kind of.
Yep,
Yeah,
like
okay.
a stucco product.
Yeah, okay.
They do that a lot in Canada.
Exteriors of buildings, you see a lot of stucco, but now you're seeing it go away. It doesn't take a hit for anything.
No, not really.
And it's kind of hard to patch. Like I understood, like when we were doing all the smart centers, when they switched over all the Walmarts, it was like it was snowing everywhere from the stucco, and it went so quick, right? Like the whole exterior is done in a couple of days, and you're like, oh, okay.
What's a smart center?
So Walmart went from just Walmart to you'll go into a Walmart and there'll be like a Staples and a Montana's and you know what I mean? It'll be like a center like RioCan does up here. It's more of like a developer move, I guess, where they've purchased like a plot of land and you'll have a bunch of things all in one area.
Yep.
Man, when we were making those, they weren't shutting down the other ones. So like in Aurelia, like if you were real good, you probably could have thrown in a baseball and hit the other Walmart because they're like, we're not turning it off. Like that's the money. It was like $1 million a day or something stupid, he said.
Wow.
So they're
just deal with it.
Build another fucking one. Yeah. And this was when they started implementing food. So there was all of the like freezer areas and things like that. It was cool, man.
When do you guys start your next house?
I'm assuming week after next.
Cool.
Yeah, one way or another we will. It's exciting. I like smashing through houses, man. Taper day is always fun. I really like running the boxes. It's the specific stuff that takes the thinking, right? But all of that is fun to me. It's just picking up the pace, right? It's just getting faster at it. And when you have other guys that really know what they're doing on site, you can go and be like, oh, like trying to perfect my first coat of like a fill on beads. I just had to get over that. It doesn't matter, right? Like fill it to the best of your ability and fucking move on.
Yeah.
Come
There's
back.
There's a lot you can do with second coat.
Well, yeah, and you can come back in 20 minutes to your first coat and critique it a little bit once it's set up, right? Sure. I didn't know any of that shit. I was afraid to use 45 because I was like, it's just gonna make cement in my bucket.
I can tell just by watching the way Steve works. He's really good.
Yeah, and the guy that we're working with, Bill, is
cool,
like a wizard. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, Steve's great, man. The way his brain works, it's like, I don't know. It's fascinating. We've said a couple of times that he's got, like we play off each other very well.
Good.
Where, yeah, it's the three-way stuff's getting exciting too, which is fun.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that come to the States. Can't be too much longer.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I'm surprised it's not. I
think people are set in their ways and it takes time to change, just like with anything.
That's the same as here. It's but it's just the same as anything. I keep going back to, at some point somebody had a compound tube and everyone went, you're an idiot, that doesn't work.
Yeah, 100%.
Just because it was the way that it was, or the first time somebody saw an angle head, they were like, this thing's crazy, right? We're not doing that.
Well, same with the whole automatic tools, like
totally.
Back in 1939 when you brought a bazooka on the job, like I'll bet you there was 5 people that said that's the way to go.
Yeah.
And now that's the only way to go.
So when we were out west, I think the first night that we stayed at that cottage, Nick and Bernie kind of just did this back and forth. And I think it was kind of prep for the next day for the podcast. But like, I was just sat and was quiet. And he was talking about like this taper guy comes in and and he's smashing through the houses. So like per day, if you looked at the pay that way, this guy was making money hand over fist. And
Good.
that's what kind of got him into it. But you have to know that there were builders like, I don't even want that shit on my site.
Oh,
Uh,
100%.
you know what I mean? Yeah.
But you think about it, like there's no way that you can put it on by hand as good as the box can. I don't care how good you are.
Yeah.
There's variance. When you drag your hand across the wall, you can't keep it as flat as that skim box. It's impossible.
Yeah. I feel like with the boxes, and especially with the dial, right? Like you can't leave a high edge on one side as easily as you could with a box.
Yep.
In my opinion, right? Like at that catch up that it would take like skill and time set wise, it's almost immediate with the box. You have to understand where the mud needs to
Yep.
go, which takes a long time, but to do
Yep.
it, like you said, and you'll never do angles by hand faster than a throttle box. You just will not do it.
It's impossible.
It's impossible. Now
Yep.
the bazooka, absolutely. There are guys out there flying with the mud in a pail, right? They're just so good at it, and I respect that. But it's yeah, there are parts of the automatic tools that it is just impossible to do
Yep.
as fast. Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
You know,
and as correct, like that. You could do a lot of things fast, but they have to turn out correct.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you can use a slot box pretty efficient, but then, it's just you.
Hmm.
And, with a bazooka, if you get good, you can keep 3, 4 guys wiping,
Oh yeah.
so you're up in that production that fast and getting you to first coat that much faster.
Yeah, Cam is saying he'll have two guys running behind him, and it's like,
Yep.
uh, I don't remember what sparked it. I think I said I would like to be on site and watch that, and he was like,
Yep.
if you're on my site on taping day, I'm just gonna plow over you because it's just like they're running, right? Get the fuck out of the way.
100%.
Yeah, and I think that's great.
100%. He's
Yeah.
still young though. He needs to do that.
Oh my
Good
God,
for him.
yeah. I do. There is a part of me that like my tail wags a little bit for him because I'm just like, fuck man, like I think he's 8 years younger than me, something like that. He might be 10 years younger than me. I don't remember which one it was, but I was like, man, if I could go back to, being 25 again, I would fucking rock being a taper.
I was going a lot faster 10 years ago than I
Oh, I
do
bet.
now. Now it's just the best way to make money is just consistency.
Hmm.
Just do it all right the first time. Just stay the same speed, and we stay ahead of everybody else. So we're doing good.
Yeah, I feel like accountability is a huge thing that you have to bring to the table, and like consistency, like you said.
Yep.
It's like you
Yep.
don't people shouldn't have to come and double check your work. You should double check your work. And every time that you look at something and go, they won't see it, somebody's gonna see it because it's
100%.
there. Just fucking fix it. And then no one
Somebody's
has to
always going to
worry
see
about
it.
it. Yeah.
Yep.
And if it's not
Yep.
the builder and it's not the painter and it's not the trim guy, it's fucking customer. Like
Yep.
somebody's gonna figure it out, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so just don't do it. Uh
Yep.
you did Venetian plaster work, right?
I did a little bit. Yep.
Yeah. So how do you like that?
It's really nice. I like the shine to it.
Me too.
The cost is super expensive.
Hmm.
It's real labor intensive,
Is it? Yeah.
but I do like it. Like
I, d-
I think it's pretty cool. It's making a comeback.
I only asked because it seems like that whole kind of thing is making a comeback here.
Yep.
Um, yeah, I'm not sure I want to get into Venetian plaster because it is fucking expensive. Like if
It's
you
expensive.
if you botch a custom wall with something like Bresco, you're $70 into new
Yeah.
material. If it's this stuff's a couple $100 a bucket, like you're in
Yeah.
deep shit if you fuck that up.
And
Um,
I see Nick do that fireplace, and he sealed it with floor sealer, and
yeah,
it had an extreme shine to it.
that's what I want to get into next is figuring out like Picnic's brain about how to shine up the wall.
Yep.
Because I think that's the only thing that I'm missing is like sometimes I do want it to be nice and subtle, but sometimes I want it to be like that kind of glass look, right? Like I see some of these like bright blues things like that have a little bit of shading into it. I'd
Yep.
like to be able to get there with the fresco. I did like a rock face with like a gold kind of vein through it on a sample, and I really enjoyed that. But trying to figure out how to like shine up some parts and matte up others, like I just,
Mm,
you know, it's more time with the sealers and playing
yep.
around with shit and trying not to make it any worse. Not worse, but you know what I mean? It when you're playing with someone else's um mix, you know, you can go, this looks really good, and then in a week it's fucked because
Yep. You
you know,
didn't
you have
follow the
no
rules.
idea what into. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I think there's a lot that could be done with it. You see a lot of those real uniform texture patterns with plaster and stuff, and
Hmm.
people don't understand. You could do the same thing with this.
Yeah.
You know, you're doing the same thing. It's just with drywall mud. You know,
Yeah.
you're still relying on the flashing and the high points and low points. And but I think if you just kept putting it on, you know, just like Nick does this, so it's cost effective.
Totally.
You know, it's way cheaper than Venetian. But if you wanted to put more time into it with another coat or a better sealer or two coats of sealer, you
Yeah,
know,
this wall's
you can
3
achieve
coats.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Cool.
And yeah, because so it's dark first, then white pulled tight, and then this black over it pulled in different directions. And I didn't know that that's what I was doing, but and now that I've kind of been looking at things like Venetian, they'll do a bunch of different
Yep.
coats, right? And that gives you some depth and stuff to it. So
So
yeah,
that's really smooth behind you then, right?
yeah, like
Yeah.
there are some little spots that it's a little bit high, but I mean, like, it was like
Yep.
valleys and mountains the way that I put it on there because I wanted it to look a certain way. It was my first time,
Yep.
right?
That's all right.
Yeah, it turned out good. I don't mind it. It's just fun, you know. It's not. It's doing the same shit every day is I hate it, right?
Oh, that's
So
my life, dude. That's all we
yeah,
do is commercial smooth wall every day. That's it.
that's only half your day, and then you're
Level four, level five. That's it.
yeah.
Yeah. Then it's on the tech dry after the second half. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, it is kind of wild that you've just wrestled that all by yourself in your
It's
spare
getting
time.
it's getting hard. I need a sales guy really bad
Yeah,
because I'm not a salesman
yeah.
at all. You know, the only reason I'm where I am is because of the product, I think.
Hmm.
So we're gonna try to pick up a salesman here soon and then drop the new products and see where we can take this next year. So
That's
maybe
smart.
before the year's over. We'll see
And
how fast it goes.
and you've got a couple of things coming out, right?
We do. We got the skimming blades and then the offset knives.
Nice.
Hopefully sooner than later.
Um, are these going to be standalones? Or are you going to be able to like put them on poles and stuff? I
They'll be standalone for now. I do want to use something for the rinky poles.
hmm.
You know, I think that would be great because that's the best pole on the market, I think.
Yeah, okay.
You know, so I don't know what else to use besides that. Maybe a skim box handle would be equivalent. Because the
Yeah,
hard thing with the skimming blades, you know, is you have it on a pole, your skimming blades, you know,
yeah,
32 inches or whatever, and just your littlest turns when you're pulling it will lift up a whole end.
yeah.
So I think you have to have a really high quality pole to get it to sit flat.
I um I love the Tomahawk for
Yep.
the 7 inch after the
Yep.
taper. And if I've got to do something like quite wide and I set it real low, like almost like what like an
Yep.
offset knife would be like.
Yeah, 100%.
But I need to have them in my hand really. Like I would just assume get up there and do it. Than try to
I'm
do it
with
from the
you.
yeah.
You know,
Because
we
you have that
will,
feel, yeah.
yeah, if we're going over something that doesn't matter and we're trying to get a base coat on it, you can
Hmm.
use the poles.
Totally.
You know, if you're just trying to hit flat, but if you're trying to do a butt joint or something that requires finesse with it,
Hmm.
the poles don't work great.
Yeah.
I don't think. Some people might be able to get it to work, but in my opinion.
Yeah, I just like having it in the hands. And I think that's
Yeah.
probably not being a 20-year guy too.
Yeah.
Where, I've not figured it out yet.
Yep.
Yeah, it's I kind of want to talk about that skimming blade. I don't know if we're allowed to though.
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
So you've got it's a double handle, right?
It is double handle.
Yeah,
We're
so
using 2 Camelback trowel handles on it.
yeah, okay. I'm
Because
excited.
it felt weird, when you have to hold it with your hands out. If you put your hands out and hold your skimming blade like that compared to this,
Yeah.
it feels way better. You get way more control. I think it's going to add a huge option to what's out there right now.
So the first time that I saw that, I was like, that looks awful goofy. And just because it's so different, I did that thing everyone
Different.
does.
Yeah, 100%.
And
100%.
then yeah, I thought about it and I was like, no, because you're then fully in control and you're not doing
Well, you
this,
can,
right?
and
Like you're
yep, it's way easier because it's really hard to feather an edge, with the skimming blades. You have to hold it real flat and square.
yeah,
With the handles, you can tweak it just a little bit to get those edges to go away. And
yeah.
it's way better. It gives us almost 5 inches more reach, because when you're reaching up,
Oh
you're
yeah.
always short when you're using your knife, you can get it. But when
Yeah.
you're using the skimming blade, you're always just a little short. So it gives you the same reach as your knife. Yeah, there's a
Right.
lot of advantages to it.
Yeah. I've only ever used them for bulkheads, corner bead, that kind of stuff. And then
Yep.
when I was doing butt joints before, I was just running the boxes and doing like a certain way of like that, and then
Yep.
sand it all down. On like what we've started doing is using the tomahawks on butt joints, and it like what a fucking difference that makes.
100%.
Yeah, I think there have definitely been some times where it was awkward. If you're
Yep.
like in a certain way or you're really stretching or you're getting
Yep.
very low.
Yep.
Same thing where I think that's gonna be cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm interested to try them out. So
I'm
you're
excited.
kind of hoping end of the year next year.
Well, we were hoping like now, but it's
Yeah,
probably going to be pushed off till fall or the end of the year. It's really hard to get a new product together. And I think I bit off a little bit more than I can chew with 5 new ones at one time. So we're working on it though. We'll get there.
yeah, but then you're this like single SKU nonsense, right? Like
It's
it
horrible.
it's a lot of fucking work for them to pick up a single
Horrible.
SKU, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, just there was this quote that was like, I tend to bite off more than I can chew, and then I chew like a motherfucker.
We're chewing.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that, man. You just got to hustle it all out. And I would
And
much rather stick my head in the ground and just like hustle my brain out for a couple of years than try and stretch that into 10 years of doing
100%.
80%, right? Like, just
And
get it
that's
over with.
where,
Yeah.
CSR and Tapers United and Barts and stuff have really stepped up and helped us and went out of their way to pick up a single product.
Yeah.
And even CSR, they've helped us out with videos and
They're
just
so
great,
great.
great guys over there, man. We send up all our promotional stuff over there, shirts, stickers, extras, free, everything,
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever we can do to help them out.
And it shows. Like I don't think we've had anything at CSR where we didn't see some sort of a TechDry something.
Yep.
Right. So I think that's half you too, being great with the community as much as they
Yep.
are. But yeah, I think I've just never gone into any other taping store. Like I went in there and was like,
It's a good one.
this is the place. Yeah.
Yep.
And it was everything. Like Eugene was there. He spent the time the first time I went in. It was just I used to be a fucking phenomenal sales guy. So there is like a tick list of like, do you ace it or not? And they fucking ace it every time.
Yep.
All right,
What'd you used to sell?
everything, buddy, everything. So
Oh shit.
I started. I left high school and started knocking on doors selling Sprint Canada.
Ooh, that's a hard
It
job.
was fucking brutal. It was brutal. And then every step of the way, somebody was like, "Why are you selling this? Come with me." And so I did water purification. I did knives. I did.
You got told to fuck off a lot, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I got so good at. I took a course for overcoming objections. It was it used to drive people fucking crazy too because you would just be super nice. And
Yep.
if when they were trying to be shit, you would just like play back what they're saying that, and it doesn't make sense because of this. And that's fine, but it's totally okay. And then they try and like get all flustered and shit. Like So when I knew that I wasn't getting the sale, I would just practice, right? You use that unless somebody's waiting in line. This is practice. And man, I had a lot of fun with it. I had a lot of fun with it.
That's a good skill for life to have.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Being in control of a situation without looking like you're in control of the situation. It's fucking awesome.
100%.
And then I ended up running a sales team at a future shop when they did that, because it was commission. Like, we were making tons of fucking money. Yeah, right outside of Toronto. So you'd have all these guys that had a good week at work, and you'd sell them all this crazy shit. And then they try and come back, and some of them would try and come back and return it. And if you were really good, they would leave with like better shit than the stuff that they came with. Because you're like, man, it's not, no, this CTV is great, but it's this that you probably want. Yeah, man.
Reminds me of in the Army now with Pauly Shore.
Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing. Yeah. In my opinion, a salesperson knows all of the answers to all of the questions, and that's what their job is, right? Where they're bridging the gap of, are you going to do your own research or not? That's what a good salesperson does. You pay for their time because you didn't have to waste yours doing their job. Yeah. But now guys don't do that. The sales guys are just like push, and it makes everybody uncomfortable, and nobody wants to do work. Like it's
I hate that.
It's kind of sad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We got a minute here. That's a good time to take a break.
Let's take a break.